Welcome to the Rock Interview Series with host Thomas S. Orwatt Jr.
Welcome to episode 134 of the Rock Interview Series. I'm Thomas Orwatt Jr., and today is November 21st, 2025. My guest for this episode is virtuoso guitarist Sammy Boller. Sammy recently released a brilliant all-instrumental solo EP titled Midnight Garden. He is also performing and touring as a guitarist for one of the most popular bands in the world, the Goo Goo Dolls. In this interview, we explore the new EP, Sammy's unique and unorthodox playing style, and his experience on the road with the Goo Goo Dolls. So here he is, Sammy Boller. Sammy, I mean, you had a crazy week. You played 2 shows with the Goo Goo Dolls in my hometown of Buffalo, New York. So how you doing? How were the shows, and what did you think of Buffalo, New York, playing there with the Goo Goo Dolls?
Oh, it was great, man. Yeah, it was actually my first time playing in Buffalo. I've played in Niagara Falls like a bunch of times over the years, but yeah, it was my first time in Buffalo proper. So yeah, we had a great time. We did 2 benefit shows. So yeah, it was packed. They had a lot of friends there. You know, they're kind of Buffalo local heroes. So yeah, it was just a great 2 nights.
Yeah. Now, of course, I want to talk about the Goo Goo Dolls with you, but before we talk about that, I want to talk about a new EP that you put out on November 7th. It's called Midnight Garden, and it's all instrumental. And from what I've read, this was a long project for you. It took like 5 years in the making to do this particular EP. Is that correct?
It is, yeah. We started working on it. I'd say like 2021 or two. I did it with a new producer named Nick Sampson, and we worked on it over time. I've been on the road a lot the past few years, touring my own solo stuff and just playing with other artists and things like that. So it took a while. It wasn't, the traditional process where you go in the studio and record the whole thing at once. You know, we did it over in chunks. But no, I'm so excited to have it out, man. I'm really proud of the record, and yeah, I'm happy that it's out in the world.
Yeah, it is really great. I mean, you have a very unique guitar style. There's a million really good guitarists out there, but your style is very different
Oh,
from
thank you,
anybody
man.
else's. It is, and it's I mean, you incorporate tapping, but not exactly like the Eddie Van Halen tapping. It's more like it's like multi-finger tapping, and it really like replaces the like the vocals, for instance, in a song, and it has great melody to it. So, how did you go about developing that particular style?
Well, first of all, thank you, man. I started on piano. I played the piano before I started playing guitar. And the way I think about it, it's kind of like almost a piano approach where the right hand plays the melody and the left hand plays the chords underneath. So I'd say maybe like, I don't know, around like 2018, 2019 is when I really started working on that style and trying to develop it, you know? Like I always liked like how guitarists could play a melody and the chords at the same time, but like the jazz guitar style for that, for instance, is really difficult. So for me, this way it became a little bit more natural, you know? And that's a big thing with being a musician or an artist. It's like you have to do what comes natural to, you know? So yeah, around like 2018, I started working on my first record and kind of trying to create a whole instrumental project around that sound, you know. And I feel really lucky, man. Like I've been able to. My first record came out in 2020, and I was able to tour on that, the past 5 years, and it's been amazing. Like I grew up playing in more traditional bands, with a singer, but
Mhm.
like developing a show where it's all the guitar and making it interesting and putting on a performance like that, like I really enjoy. I'm looking forward to doing more of it.
Yeah. Now, I've always wondered about instrumental records. How do you come up with the titles for an instrumental song?
I mean, what I like about instrumental music is, the songs still have inherent meaning, like even though there aren't lyrics. You know, I write the songs about a subject, they still mean something to me. But
Mm.
it's nice since there aren't lyrics, they could be interpreted all kinds of different ways. So I think that's cool. But
Yeah.
the title Midnight Garden, that I had that song title for a long time, and I don't know. When it came time to name the actual record, I just thought that was such a cool title to like. It evokes an image, it evokes a lot of imagery with it. So that's how that's why the record ended up being called that. But no, all the songs definitely have a certain meaning for sure.
And you said that you would like to tour behind this if you can. I mean, I with the Goo Goo Dolls, it looks like you might be a little busy in the next year or two or
They do
so.
tour a lot, yeah. So I mean, that's obviously the primary focus right now. But no, I'm definitely going to be doing some dates in between working with them for sure. So yeah, be
Mhm.
on the lookout.
Yeah, wow. Now you have an interesting career. You started off, you went to the University of Michigan for music, correct? And you graduated in 2012?
I dropped out, but yeah, I left in
Oh, okay.
2012. I started playing in a band called Citizen Zero, and
Right.
we were already kind of working on music and stuff with a producer. So I kind of, I don't know, it just got to be too much being in school and all that. So yeah, I dropped out. I did go to, it was music school though. It was, I was like a jazz guitar major there. So yeah, I learned a lot. I'm glad I did it, but I only went for 3 terms, and the third term, I wasn't there too much. So 2 terms, I'd say. But
Yeah.
no, it was great, man. Yeah, I look back on those years fondly now, you know.
Yeah, and you also won an award, the Master Satriani Award in 2012.
Yeah, I guess I meet Joe Satriani around that time. There was like a contest through Guitar Center, and it was like a cover contest, and he picked some winners, and we get to fly out to LA and get to see him play up close. He did like a clinic, a master class, you know. So that was really cool. I mean, he's always been one of my heroes, and yeah, that was like actually the first time I ever got to go to California. So yeah, it was just an amazing experience, you know. I was really young at the time, so yeah, it was awesome. Joe's a wonderful guy.
Well, I watched past interviews with you, and you cited Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads as influences. Now, you being a younger guy, how did you come across finding those influences? I mean, obviously they're so popular, but like people in your age really didn't grow up on that type of music. Grew up on different types of music.
No, that's true. I mean, yeah, Van Halen doesn't definitely wasn't like the most popular band at the time, you know, when I was a young kid starting to play, but um I'm fortunate, man. Like I started getting into rock and roll and playing guitar like right before YouTube. Like the internet was in its early stages, you know. So I only knew a few guitar players. Like Eddie was kind of like one of the only guitar players I knew of, you know, as a young kid. So I'm thankful for that because it like allowed me to really hone in on his style and focus on the music, you know, and not having a million things going on at once. I mean, like YouTube's amazing for studying music or learning anything, but it's so much information, like it's hard to know where to start, you know. So yeah, I don't know. My parents are musicians too, so they turned me on to Van Halen early on, and you know all the great classic rock of the time. So yeah, I'd say probably like just like the influence of my parents and just being a guitar player. I mean, Van Halen's like, you know, he'll that music will go on forever, you know.
Was there a moment that you thought to yourself that this is what I want to do? I want to be a lead guitarist.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know what's funny is like I started playing like my parents put me on piano lessons when we moved to Detroit, like when I was like really young, like 5 years old or 6 years old. And I always liked it, like I always liked music, but even back then, like I knew like, man, I really want to play the guitar. You know, like I always just had that. It always was inside me. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Um, yeah, and like growing up and learning how to play, like I mean, I would play all day, like every free second I had, you know, as soon as I got home from school until I went to bed, you know. But it never felt like practice, and it never really felt like hard, it's a hard work, but it didn't really feel like it. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing something you love, it's fun, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I've always kind of just I always felt like I was a guitar player, even when I was a really young kid.
What was the first song you learned to play in its entirety?
My mom showed me how to play the riff to Day Tripper by the Beatles.
Yes.
And that was before it was on we had acoustic guitars around the house. So I learned that and then Smoke on the Water and Iron Man and like all the classic stuff, you know. But I got an electric guitar that summer. And I would just play so I've always played like so loud. That's just the thing I enjoy the most, I think. So I think I drove my parents nuts just playing those 3 songs over and over and over, you know. So finally they were like, you have to learn, you know, you can learn other music, enough's enough, you know. So that's when I kind of really went down the lane of, you know, transcribing and just trying to learn all the music that I was listening to, you know.
And how did the band Citizen Zero come up?
They were already a band in town and doing really well in Detroit, and they were working with a producer named Al Sutton, and he owns a wonderful studio in town. But at the time, he was known for being Kid Rock's producer, and he still does some stuff with him. But most recently, he discovered Greta Van Fleet, like he did their two first records. But anyway, he was like a big producer in town. So they called me to audition, and I was gonna transfer colleges. I was gonna go to Berkeley in Boston, and like I already had an apartment picked out and everything. So initially said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm moving," you know. But I went and checked out their music, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is really good," you know. So I went and met them, and then that was like, I don't know, it was instant chemistry. You know, I felt like I'd been playing with them forever. So yeah, that was definitely like a life-changing moment that kind of like took me down a whole new path as a guitar player and an artist for sure. That's when I started
Yeah.
like writing music and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
you
wonderful.
just
We just got back together. We just did a reunion show recently, so it's been cool playing all the music from back then again, you know.
yeah, it was just November 15th, I think, right? Last Saturday,
It was a
right?
week, yeah, correct, last Friday. It was amazing, man.
Yeah. What was it like going back to playing a club like that after playing like these big sold out like arenas and amphitheaters?
I love it all, man. You know, like most of my touring has been doing more like clubs and theaters and stuff. So that's what I'm probably the most comfortable with. Like I'm still kind of learning. I'm still kind of developing my thing with some of the bigger places and bigger stages. You know, it's a different type of performance, or you know, certain things work in a small place versus a big place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the main thing was just playing all our old music with those guys that like are my brothers. You know, we grew up together playing, so it's like it was emotional for sure. You know, but we had a blast. I saw so many people I hadn't seen in so long. It was awesome. You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I love it all, man. I love playing the guitar. So and performing especially, like that's probably my favorite thing is being on the road and playing. So anytime I'm up there playing, I'm the happiest. You know.
Yeah. Back to your solo records. Do you play everything on the solo records?
No, just the guitar.
Mhm.
The producer Nick Sampson played bass on this record, and he's the one who we worked the tracks out a lot together. And then it's basically a collaboration between me and him, and then a longtime drummer that I played with, John Dudley. He's the drummer in Citizen Zero, so he played drums on the record. So it's I'd say it's a combination of us three working on the songs. I can't play the drums to save my life, unfortunately. I wish.
Yeah, because usually, sometimes when you have a instrumental guitar record like that, a lot of times it's like programmed drums on there, and then this
Right.
didn't sound like that to me when I listened to it.
No, I think I haven't done any of that in a long time. Like I've always been more a little bit old school when it comes to recording, you know. Like programming drums are great for writing songs and making demos. And like I've done it just a lot, like being on the road, it's cool to like, you know, to work songs out that way. But when it comes time to actually record and, do it for real, you gotta do it for real, man. I would never like put out a record with programmed drums, I don't think.
That's good because that's one thing that I do not like about a lot of instrumental records I hear. You can definitely I can tell just by listening to it.
Are you a guitar player or
You know
what do you
what?
play? Let's
Oh,
say a bass in the background.
yes, I do have a bass. I'm one of those guitarists that like got frustrated and became like went into bass. But I started off really young because I wanted to basically live the life that you have, and
Nah.
and and I just didn't have the like. I tried so hard. I just didn't have the natural ability. I had a guitar teacher that was great. He was the best guitar teacher in town, and I remember being up in his like apartment for lessons, and he's teaching me these eight finger tapping, and I just remember the pain in this like super hot air conditioned apartment, like for an hour doing this eight finger tapping thing, and I was like, just
That's
teach me a
cool,
Rolling
man.
Stones song, man. I just want to learn how to play rhythm guitar, and it was like
Nah.
that was the thing back in the '80s is you had to play like Eddie Van Halen, you had to play like Yngwie Malmsteen, and I just never got to that talent, to that point, and it was just frustrating for me, So.
It's hard when you're yeah, I've heard stories like that a lot where it's like it wasn't the right teacher or like the, circumstances are just not don't line up, you know, but it's never too late, man. I mean, obviously you still play. It's playing is all about the joy of it. That's what I try to remind people. It's like even if you're not doing it for a living or traveling and playing, like the real joy is being able to sit down and play for yourself.
Yeah.
And play whatever you love the most. Like there's no reason that you have to play like Ingve. Especially if that's not really your type of music. Who cares? It's all about being able to play the music you really love. So.
Yeah.
It's all good, man. But I play a little bit of bass too, but no, I'm not well enough to I don't know, go out and play a show. But yeah, I do like playing
I'm
bass.
sure you could play a show. I'm sure you'd be outstanding with it. Just listen to your guitar playing. Next, I need to talk about the Goo Goo Dolls. I'm in Buffalo, New York. I've been a fan. I've known those guys since like 1989, and
Awesome.
yeah. So I've talked to pretty much everyone that's been in the band. So here we go. And I have to admit that I think you're a great mix into the band. The concerts on I went to Wednesday's show and I was like super impressed. You had like five songs that you took a good solo in, and that was Miracle Pill, which I thought was outstanding.
Oh,
And
thanks.
then yeah, and then so let's just go back before let's go to the beginning of how did you get involved with the Goo Goo Dolls? I know it was kind of sudden because Brad Fernquist was in the band. I saw them in Buffalo on August, I think August 9th. And
Okay.
then like later that week or the next week, Brad had to leave, and then you were in the band, so it happened real quick.
It did. Yeah. I it was shocking, man. It was definitely like Brad got injured while they were out on the road. He had a shoulder thing going on, and he had to leave the tour like out of the blue. And they were scrambling basically because they had shows, they were in the middle of a tour.
Yeah.
So their manager went to for a recommendation of like one of my best friends. His name is Dave Friedman. He's a really well-known amplifier maker and designer and like just really respected in the guitar world. And Dave recommended me to them. So that's how I got called to do it. But it was the Sunday night at like 1 a.m. So I was like going to bed and I get a text from their manager saying, "Hey, this is, so and so from the Goo Goo Dolls. You think you can learn this show? I got your number. You think you can learn this show?" And he sent me a YouTube video. And I thought it was, I mean, I didn't know if it was real. I was like, what is this? But so I was like, of course, yeah, what's going on? So he said, "Hey, I'll call you tomorrow morning." So, I wake up and I'm going through the show. I'm like, starting to learn it, but, he didn't call right away. And like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really have any details. And then at like maybe like 4 or 5 o'clock on Monday, he called and said, "Hey, we need you. You need to fly out tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh, well, when's the first show?" He goes, "It's tomorrow." So I was like, "Oh no," it was just panic. I just panicked, right? So I love their music. I mean, I'm like you. I've been a fan for a long time, but learning a whole concert like that, it's a lot of songs, and like a lot of the arrangements are different than the albums. It's a lot goes into it. So I stayed up all night, cram learning it, like making charts and the whole thing, and I showed up the next day. I'm sure I looked crazy, because I didn't sleep. I had to, fly, like do a really early flight. And yeah, we rehearsed at sound check. I met the guys and we rehearsed at sound check. And then we got through like as much of it as we could. And it wasn't perfect by any means the first night, but we got through it. And I got to finish out the tour with it. It was just like it was amazing. It was like it was the most wild summer of my life, going from like I was planning on taking the summer off touring. You know what I mean? So going from that to being on the road with them, and it was just incredible, man. So yeah, getting to continue to do it and like play with them full time now, it's like I mean, it's a total blessing. Yeah, they're just wonderful guys. And one thing I connected with them on early is like I didn't realize you were still in Buffalo. I know you mentioned you were from there, but like they're really proud of being from Buffalo. And like that's how I feel about Detroit. So that's one thing we kind of connected on really, really early on. It's like we're really proud of where we came from.
That's like really incredible that any human being could learn a set that quick, no matter what your talent level is. I mean, I consider you like a extremely talented guitarist, but I'm still
No, thank
shocked
you.
that you were able to pull that off. It doesn't seem humanly possible. It really doesn't.
Thanks. It was the only way I can describe it, like that 24 hours or 48 hours was like extreme stress. It was like very, very stress. I mean, it was like, yeah, it's not that was the main part of it. It was more the mental part of it. Like just because, you're walking on stage and you go, I don't know this stuff, and that's really, I hate that, like I've always wanted to be really prepared, you know, especially like a stage like that, where it's just, packed. But we got through it. It got better. Like after, every show got a little bit better. And then like we played Detroit like maybe like the fifth show or sixth show. And like by that time it was like I was feeling a little more comfortable with it. So it was like, all my friends were there. It was crazy, you know. But yeah, dude, the amount of wonderful songs they have is like that's the most amazing thing. It's just the whole show is just every song is incredible, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been telling Robbie for years that I'm shocked that they're not headlining stadiums. And now it looks like they're actually headed towards that way. I mean, the last year has been a real resurgence in the band. I mean, not that I mean, they were always popular. They're always at that level where they could play amphitheaters. But this last summer, they were playing the same amphitheaters, but just selling them out. Like every single one of them were sold out. And now I think
There's a
now it's going
huge
to,
Yeah, it's on the upward trajectory for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. But it goes to show, man. I mean, those songs are just timeless. And it's like a whole new generation of people are discovering them, you
Yeah,
know?
I think that's the main thing. And what were you given as far as what you were able to play as far as the solos go? Did they say strictly no tapping allowed? I mean, let's keep it simple, or were there any
No, they weren't
restrictions like
like
that?
that. Not really. I mean, no, they were. I mean, at first it was like, since it was so last minute, it was just like, get up there and do your thing. But I tried to keep it close to what was already going on. Like a that's just part of being a hired musician. It's like the way I look at it, it's like my role is to support their show,
Yeah,
and try to do it as true to like the albums and what their tastes and everybody's tastes. So, yeah, I try to make it fit in with the context of their band, you know. But
mm.
it's fun, man. John Resnick obviously plays a lot of lead guitar too, so it's like it's fun going back and forth.
Yeah. He has some really strange tunings. I mean, I think he has a different guitar for every song that he plays
He
on stage.
does. Yeah, he has a lot of guitars on tour, more than I've ever seen anybody take on the road. But he uses them all, man. But he does that because like back in the day they were obviously a three piece. So to fill up the sound, like it just sometimes those open tunings could help, make it sound huge with certain riffs and things like that. So that's how it started. But yeah, he still does that, man. It's pretty cool.
But you stay in the same tuning the whole show.
I'm in standard tuning for most of it,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, standard. There's a couple little things where I'll do some alternate tunings. Like we just did Long Way Down last night. That's an alternate tuning.
You did long
Yeah,
way.
for a few.
You did long way
Yeah,
down. Oh, are you kidding me? You added that into the set?
yeah, that's the first time I played that with them. Yeah, it was awesome. I love that song. Um,
Yes. So
yeah,
do
that's
I.
an alternate tuning. But yeah, that song's sick.
Wow. So what have you learned from Johnny and Robbie as far as like stage presence? Have you taken anything away from them because they're, great stage performers?
They're both amazing. Yeah. I would say I did ask them about that. Yeah, because like I kind of mentioned, like I mean, I had played some big festivals and stuff in the past, but never where it's like what they do, where it's like every single night. So it took some getting used to. Um, but Robbie says he learned some trick from I forget what singer. I forget that singer. I'm sorry, but it's like he kind of picks a few people and kind of performs to them, and that's kind of like he has guides on the stage, and I kind of like that. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I kind of learned, and just honestly, just from doing it over and over like that, like I just learned a lot about like I don't know, it's hard to explain. I guess like um, performing to that mass of people. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but like sometimes like a little bit less is more in certain occasions, things like that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But dude, I mean, just playing some of those songs, it's just like I just get goosebumps. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's still like, yeah, it's still really new and fresh, so it's
Yeah.
amazing.
I want to talk about the song Iris. I mean, that song that slide solo you have to be perfect on. And it's not super
Yeah,
it's not super difficult to play, but I mean, you screw that up, it's done. I mean, so I mean,
Yeah.
how do you go about, in that particular solo playing that to make sure that it's, I mean, is a slide guitar, slide part, is that something that were familiar with doing slide before?
I didn't play slide at all before this. No, like at all. I didn't even own a slide. So that's when they called me, like the next, the day before the show when they called me, the manager said, he's like, "Hey, I know this is last minute. We know it's not going to be, it doesn't have to be dead on perfect, but like there's a few things where it just has to be perfect, like the slide solo at Iris." So I was like, you know, fuck, you know. So I mean, I practice slide a lot now because I want it to be great, but I mean, that's one of those things where it's so iconic. You have to play it exactly like the record, So I try to nail it every time. So
Yeah.
that I still can't even believe. Every time it's so people like get engaged during that song, all kinds of stuff, It's wild.
That song has kind of become the like, Stairway to Heaven, Freebird, Hotel California, like just epic song that's just has a life of its own.
It really does. Yeah, it's its own thing entirely. Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. But yeah, and it's only getting bigger. It's crazy.
Crazy, isn't it? I mean, we are
Yeah,
in
it's
like
really
some
crazy.
weird music times, like 20 years ago, a song that's almost 30 years old would never become this huge hit again. I mean, that's just crazy.
It's unreal. Yeah, and there's certain things that like influence it, but it's really just word of mouth,
Yeah,
That's really what it comes down to. But yeah,
yeah.
I feel really lucky to be able to play that with them. All the songs.
Yeah, I remember. I follow you on Facebook. I remember reading when you played Red Rocks that you really were pretty happy about playing there, and that was kind of like a highlight for you. Tell me just a little bit about that particular show and what it was like playing in that venue.
I mean, that was like a bucket list venue for sure. Yeah, we did the sound check and it was it's super cool like just looking up at that and like backstage they have all the plaques of like all the people that had played there, and it's just great. The Beatles played there, and stuff like that. It's been around for a long time. But they told me that I think Craig, the drummer, recommended like, hey, don't go out and because we Dashboard Confessional was the opener on the tour, so like I'd usually watch them from the side or at least some of it because I love those guys. But he's like, don't go out and just wait until we walk on to see what it looks like, when we start playing. And I did that, and I was just like, I just, I was trying to like burn it all into my head because what that looks like from the stage when you're playing, like the way the two rocks go in, and like the way the crowd, it's like a really narrow crowd. It goes really up high but narrow, It's like
Yeah.
there's nothing like it in the world. But yeah, I try to just like remember every second of that because it was just so cool. It was definitely like I always dreamt about playing in that place. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild.
I think a lot of the places that you probably dreamed of playing are probably going to come true soon.
I hope so, man. Yeah, I mean, just one day at a time. But no, I feel like so blessed to be able to play with them, man. Like it's still can't believe it sometimes. But yeah, I'm just gonna just keep it rolling and enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Have you played your solo EP to Robbie and Johnny yet? And I'm curious as to see what they would have thought of it.
They've heard some of my stuff. I don't know if they've heard the newest record yet, but I don't know. Robbie said he had me on his Spotify. He's been joking with me about that I keep popping up there. So maybe he's heard it. I don't know, but I'll show it to him eventually.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, Sammy, I want to thank you. I want to also say congratulations for like, being in like probably one of the most popular bands in the world and playing with them and releasing this great instrumental solo EP and best of luck and hopefully we can catch up again soon and talk about more of your experiences on the road.
I'd love that, man. So nice to meet you, Tom. Yeah, I'll see you next time. I'm gonna be in Buffalo a lot, so yeah,
Okay,
we'll
yeah,
catch
great.
up.
All right,
It's
sounds
awesome,
good.
man.
All right,
All
Sam,
right.
take it easy. Okay, bye-bye.
Hey, cheers, bro. Nice to meet you, man.